captain. So climb aboard. We'll search for tomorrow. On every shore. And I'll try. Oh Lord, I'll try to
Hey, and welcome to episode 5 of the Set Sail podcast. My name is Ross Kaplan Wynn, and I'm glad you could join me today. So today we are going to talk about microphones. So specifically, we're going to talk about USB microphones, and we'll worry about the other types in a future episode. And for USB microphones, what's great about them is that they're really easy to use, compatible with literally every computer. So you just plug them in and make sure that you have selected it as your input device in your computer. And then you can open up any program you want, GarageBand or Audacity or Audition. There's a million other programs if you want, and start recording. And it's really that simple. You'll want to make sure that you I've adjusted the input settings so the gain levels don't peak into the red, so you don't want your voice to be cut off if you end up talking too loudly. And besides that, they're really easy to use, and there's really only a handful of quality USB microphones that are recommended for podcasting and recording your audio or your voice. And sure, there's a bunch of other kind of cheaper USB mics that work fine for Skype calls and, business kind of meeting stuff, but you probably want just a tiny bit higher quality one for podcasting. But that doesn't mean that you need to spend a ton, and all the USB microphones, as far as I'm aware, that are out there are all under $200, and most are actually under about $150, and some are a lot less, closer to the $50 range. So let's dive into it here, and I'll highlight some of the best. So the first one is the Blue Yeti, and this one is extremely popular just because so many people use it, and it has a ton of cool features. So for one, it has a headphone jack, which is really important. And actually, that's one thing I want to recommend. If you get a USB mic, look for one that has a headphone jack so that you can monitor your audio without any sort of delay. So if you plug in your headphone jack into your computer separate from your microphone, there can tend to be a slight delay until you'll hear an echo as you're recording, and it doesn't make it easy to listen to or makes it difficult to record. So that's one feature that I strongly suggest looking at over most of the others for USB mics. And so besides that, the Blue Yeti has 4 different settings on it. It has so for how it picks up sound. So it has a cardioid, which is a front facing, that's like your standard vocal recording setting. It has omnidirectional, which means it records or picks up sound equally from all sides, which is great for like a conference table, or if you have a group of people kind of all sitting around, that's an option. It has a left and right option, so it's a kind of stereo recording, and it has bidirectional, which is front and back. So if you're doing an in-person interview and you only have the Blue Yeti mic, that would be a good option to use that and place it equally spaced in between you, and then it should get both of your voices without picking up sound from the side. So it's kind of cool that it has all those options if you're going to use them, and that's the big if. The Blue Yeti was my first mic that I got, and I thought, oh, sure, I'll use all these features, but I've only ever used it in the cardioid kind of front-facing setting, so just something to think about. because you do pay a little bit extra for that feature. And then it also has gain control, so you can control how sensitive the microphone is, which is really cool because you don't have to set that in your software. So that's a nice feature. And then it also has a volume control for your headphone right on board, so you can set that appropriately. And lastly, it has a mute button, which is really cool that not the other USB mics don't have. So you can mute your mic, if you need to cough or if you just want to make sure it's not recording, you can hit that button and it has a nice red light that flashes when it's muted. And so Blue actually discounts this mic a few times a year. So I've got it. Normally it's around $120, $130, but during Amazon Prime Day, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, those type of special holiday sale days, I have found it for $80 to $90. So just so if you don't need it right away, those are great times to get it. But either way, it's an awesome deal for the price, and they offer it in like 10 different colors. So there's black, silver, platinum, white, blue, gray. Did I say white? A different kind of white, satin red, slate. So a bunch of stuff. And then they also have a Yeti Pro model that includes the USB connection, but it also includes an XLR connection, so you can hook it up to a USB interface or mixer, and it kind of gives you a lot more flexibility, but that one comes at a higher cost. So just something to be aware of, that you have another option there. And I guess the only downside with the Yeti is that it's a really large microphone, because it has to have the audio digital to analog converter built in, and it has all those different settings and a headphone amp and all this stuff. So it's big and heavy, which means that you need, if you want to hook it up to a boom arm or stand, you'll need a really solid, sturdy mic stand in order to use it with the Yeti. And especially if you add on their Blue Radius 2 shock mount, that one's pretty heavy as well. So the weight starts to add up, and it will cripple some of the smaller boom arms. Just something to be aware of. I personally use the Heil PL2T boom arm, and it can hold it just fine. So, but that one costs around $100, and I think the Rode has one as well. It's a comparable price and quality. I would try to avoid some of the knockoff options if you're going with the Blue Yeti. And next up, we have the Audio Technica AT 2020 USB Plus. And just want to start off by saying that there's a big difference between the USB and USB Plus versions. So with the Plus model, you get that headphone jack that I said is so important, and with the volume control, and you get a mix dial that allows you to blend your computer audio with your voice, so you can kind of do some cool things with that feature, and it's great for gaming and streaming if you do that as well. So just the headphone jack alone is a must-have feature for a USB mic. So just be aware that there's some different models, and you'll want the plus model of that. And let's see here, we have they make a ton of them. The standard XLR version of the AT 2020 is a staple in the voiceover industry, broadcasting industry, all the audio voice recording stuff. They're relatively cheap, work well, sturdy. So great option. And I think that runs about $150 if I don't. Yep, $150. So pretty good price. It's a cardioid front facing only. So yeah, it's an awesome option. You'll want to look into a mic stand or boom arm to go with that though. And then next we have the Audio Technica ATR 2100 USB. And this one is a really popular podcasting mic. And I think even Tim Ferriss used this mic for a while when he started out. I know he's since upgraded to something much fancier, but what's great about the ATR 2100 is that it has both USB and XLR connections, and you can use them both at the same time. So what's cool about that is, let's say you want to record with USB to your computer, you can also connect an XLR cable to a digital audio recorder so that you can kind of save a backup version in case maybe your computer crashes while you're recording. You'll have a backup saved for it. So that's just one kind of scenario where that can be useful. Or if you just end up upgrading down the line, so you just use the USB version to start with, and then later maybe you add a co-host and you want to get another one, and then you need to get a mixer, you can just start using the XLR connections and just skip the USB stuff altogether. So kind of a lot of flexibility. It's small, handheld, and comes with a little stand. So it's a nice like travel mic too, and I think it runs about $70. So cool, great option to get started with. I've seen some comparisons from between it and some other more expensive $400 mics, and it's almost as good. So you would be hard pressed to notice the difference. So I highly recommend that one if you don't mind kind of the handheld design in a mic. And to round out my top recommendations is the Rode NT USB. And this is a pretty awesome little kit. It comes with a pop filter. And so what that does is helps the mic from picking up those kind of hard P sounds. So if you put your hand in front of your face and say plank or something, you'll feel the air push into your hand, and that also will push into the mic. So you want to avoid that by not only with mic placement, by placing the mic kind of at an angle off to the side, but also by having a screen or filter or cover that helps kind of diffuse that air coming out of your mouth. So it comes with one of those. It comes with a zero latency headphone jack for monitoring your audio. Awesome. Comes with mix control, kind of like the AT2020 USB Plus, to mix your voice and your computer audio together. And then it comes with a little stand and a storage pouch. So nice little package. And you can also use it with the iPad if you have the camera connection kit. So if you want to record with an iPad, that's cool. I think that will work with an iPhone as well. So Rode is well known for just making quality audio equipment. I have two Rode mics. I'm recording on their Procaster right now, which is not a USB mic, but actually there is one more. There's the Rode Podcaster, which is a USB mic by Rode. So you can also check out that one too. There are some other popular USB mics, but I want to mention them because I don't recommend them, and I'll tell you why. So the first one is Apogee Mic 96K, and I think it's just a little overpriced, and it doesn't include a headphone jack. So that's the main reason. If you doesn't have a headphone jack, I'd try to avoid it. And the next is the Razer Siren, and it's basically the same kind of setup and design as the Blue Yeti, but because Razer hasn't really been in the audio industry for very long at all, they're more well known for computer gaming accessories, keyboards, mice, headphones, that type of stuff. I would just if you're going to spend, it's the same price as the Yeti, or maybe even a little more. If you're thinking about getting that, I would just get the Blue Yeti over the Razer. So that's the only reason there. And I've seen some reviews that just say it's just not up to the same level of quality. So, moving on, those are kind of all mics above the $100 range. There are a few more here under $100, and the first is the Blue Snowball. So it's basically the Yeti's little brother, little sister, and it includes 2 microphone capsules, which allow you to switch between cardioid and omnidirectional. So it kind of gives you a nice little option there if you want to record, just you, or maybe your whole little table or something. And it has an adjustable stand. And so there's also a Snowball Ice, which is the cheaper version. It doesn't have the adjustable stand. It doesn't have the 2 pickup patterns. So it's a bit different, but the name is just so similar that I wanted to make sure that you were aware of the difference there. It does not have a headphone jack though, so that's where I'm not the biggest fan. But a similar kind of level mic is the Samson Meteor mic, and it does have a headphone jack. It works with an iPad if you have the camera connection adapter. It has a mute button, headphone volume dial. The legs are built in to make it a stand. So kind of a nice little package. Another great travel mic if you want something as maybe a backup. That's an awesome option as well. It looks like a little rocket ship. So really cool. Nice sub $100 mic. Let me pull up the price right now. It's $67. So it's a nice comparison with the ATR 2100 USB. I think they're exactly the same price. And then another nice travel mic is the Blue Snowflake. It's a cardioid mic, USB mic as well, and it's tiny. It can clip to the top of your laptop screen. It kind of folds and packs tightly together, so it looks really nice. Check that one out, Blue Snowflake, if you want a travel mic or just something a lot cheaper. And in that same vein, Samson has a Go mic that folds up, also clips to the top of your screen, so has a headphone jack, and perfect for travel, or just a great mic if you want something that's 20 times better than your built-in laptop's microphone. And I mentioned the Ice before, and then to round out options, there's the Samson Meteorite, which is a tiny little one, and I think it's about $40. That's more than I remember it being. So I'd probably try to go with those ones that have headphone jacks. You don't need to spend a ton, and know that when you buy a microphone, they last forever. So it can last years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So it's really, in the long term, it's not a big investment. So if you want to check out some more details on this, you can go to setsailpodcast.com/5 and check them all out, pick one up, and you can get started podcasting. And just so you know, in the next episode, I'm going to talk about some accessories that work really well for the Blue Yeti and really make it a much better microphone, much better audio quality, and will just help you record. I kind of highlighted one earlier, but we'll get into a lot more detail in the next episode. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you in episode 6.